17. Contract to sell or let property by one who has no title, no specific enforceable, non no specific, not specifically enforceably, no specifically enforceably. 17 section 17. Contract to sell or let property by one who has no title, not specially enforceable. 1. A contract to sell or let any immovable property cannot be specially enforced in favor of a vendor or leaser. Vendor or leaser section 17 clause A, who knowing himself not to have any title to the property has contracted to sell or let the property, where performance not possible without variation. Section 18. Section 18, where the contract is in written and as against the party seeking specific performance, the other party set by the defense of variation, then in the following case specific performance cannot be awarded. Section 18. No enforcement except with variation. Section 18. No enforcement except with variation, where a plaintiff seeks specific performance of a contract in writing to which the defendant set up a variation. The plaintiff cannot obtain the performance sought with the variation so set up in the following case, namely set up in the following case, namely B, where the object of the party was to produce a certain legal result which the contract has framed is not calculate to produce, section 19 यानी कि सेक्शन 19, relief against party and person claiming under him by subsequent title relief. Section 19 relief against party and person claiming under him by subsequent title except as otherwise provided by this chapter, specific performance of a contract may be enforced against. Section 19 clause A, either party through to section B, any other person claiming under him by a title rising subsequently to the contract except a transferring for value who has paid this money in good faith and without notice of the originally contract हो गया ओरिजिनली कॉन्ट्रैक्ट रिलीफ अगेंस्ट पार्टी लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव और सब्सिस्टेंट transferee. Section 19 provide that the relief of the specific performance can be obtained against the following party. Relief against legal representative. Section 19 clause B provide that relief can be claimed against any person who claim title rising subsequently to the contract. Party claiming the title under original owner. Party claiming title under original owner subsequently bona fide buyer. Section 19 clause B. Under section 19 clause B of the Specific Relief Act 1963, a specific performance of a contract can be enforced not only against either party through but against any other person claiming under him by a title rising subsequently to the contract except in it transferring for a value who has paid this money in good faith and without notice of original contract. Without notice of original contract. without notice of original contract, without notice of original contract, without notice of original, without transfer execute by only sum of owner, transfer executed by only sum of owner acquiring title during pendency of suit, pendency of suit, discretion and power of court, section 20, 20 section 20, discretion has to degree specific performance, degree specific performance, degree one the jurisdiction, jurisdiction 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 to degree specific performance is discretionary, 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 and the court is not bound to grant such relief merely because it is lawful to do, lawful to do so. But the discretion of the court is not arbitrary, not arbitrary but sound and reasonable, guided by the judicial principle and applicable of the correction by a court of appeal, court of appeal यानी कि सेक्शन 20 discretion, discretion, DISCRA, discretion has to degree specific performance, DECREEI degree, DECREEI degree specific performance. Section 20 discretion, discretion has to degree specific performance, degree specific performance, degree specific performance हो गया, degree specific performance, discretion, discretion, discretion. Section 20 of the Specific Relief Act further lists certain circumstances in which the court may at its discretion refuse refuse specific enforcement. The section open with the remark that the jurisdiction to jurisdiction to degree specific performance is discretionary and the court is not bound to give such relief merely because it is lawful to do so. The section who never immediately add that such discretion shall not be arbitrarily exercised. It has to be exercised on sound and reasonable basis, sound and reasonable basis, sound and reasonable basis हो गया, sound discretion हो गया, discretion, discretion हो गया, discretion, buyer with notice of the previous sale, buyer buyer with notice of the previous sale, buyer of the notice for the previous sale, buyer of the notice for previous sale, buyer of the notice for previous sale, buyer of the notice for previous sale हो गया, buyer for previous sale, unfair contract, unfair contract, unfair contract, unfair contract हो गया, unfair contract, contingent contract, contingent contract in a agreement for sale of land. The condition was that the sale deed would be executed after the seller obtain permission for use of the land as village land. Village land. It was held that the contract was not contingent. Contract was not contingent. It was specially enforceable. Enforceable. The suit filed within 3 years after obtaining permission was not time barred. The suit filed within 3 years after obtaining permission was not time barred. The seller cannot sue for the price unless he obtain the necessary permission first. According to the discuss according to the decision According to a decision of Supreme Court, subsequently event can also be taken into the account in existing exercising discretion under the section. The court said jurisdiction of the court under section 20 is discretionary. Jurisdiction of court under section 20 is discretionary said led jurisdiction jurisdiction of a court under section 20 is discretionary subsequent event can be taken into consideration to decide to exercise or not be exercise jurisdiction hence where the agreement to sell led stipulated that it was subject to grant of permission by the competent authority under the Urban Land Selling and Regulation Act 1976 and the authority refused to grant such permission, it was held that such order of the competent authority should have been necessarily taken into the consideration to decide as to whether to exercise the discretionary jurisdiction discretionary jurisdiction to direct specific performance of the agreement or not till the order of the competent authority हो गया order of the contract incomplete wherein an agreement for sale of flat where was no consequence between the party has to the price payable. The court said specific performance could not be ordered हो गया could not be ordered transfer by unauthorized party transfer by unauthorized party transfer by unauthorized party हो गया transfer by unauthorized person oral agreement हो गया memorandum of understanding to purchase immovable property on it basis was held to be neither equivalent to registered agreement nor specific about any property and therefore could not support the appeal of the specific performance or in injunction. Memorandum of understanding to purchase immovable property on its basis was held to neither equivalent to registered agreement nor specific about any property and therefore could not be supported the appeal of the specific performance or in injunction. Hardship specific enforcement is refused where it could cause considerably hardship to the defendant which he did not foresee, whereas non performance could cause no such hardship to the plaintiff हो गया plaintiff to come with clean hand where a party constitute different proceeding in different form within a short span of time substantial performance by one side substantial performance by one side mutuality or remedy read and willing हो गया read and willing protecting interest of vendor protesting limitation for execution of degree Execution. Nature of the jurisdiction under the act.